So for today's dinner, my daughter is going to make her vegetable curry, and we're going to use some of this big marrow. It's huge, it's about 2 foot long. Big marrow that we got from Morrison's, the supermarket, the other day when we went to the mainland to get shopping, and it weighs over 3 kilos and it's just the hugest marrow ever, and it only cost me £1 for the entire marrow, so that's quite exciting. So I'll probably just chop and freeze the what's left, because we're not going to need all this for the vegetable curry. So yeah, we're just so excited because we were going and we hoped that there was going to be a marrow there, and it was rather exciting to get it. So far my daughter's chopped up some marrow and there's sweet potato, and she's just popped in some broad beans that she's opening. Might go for have a look. She's just opening some broad beans from the garden, and there's some peas to go in, and there's onion and garlic and any other veggies. Carrots are in, and curry powder, and anything else. Peanut butter. Peanut butter's not been in yet, so it'll be peanut butter and some creamed coconut going in, and then it will all be delicious. So my daughter's dished the curry up, and it's not picking up a very nice colour on the camera, but never mind. And she made some Marks and Spencer's frozen chips. These are the straight cut ones, and that's our curry, and yeah, that's what we're going to have, and we're all starving, so we're off to eat it. So for today's dinner, I've made a sausage pasta and it's steaming. And in here I've used a couple of cartons of passata and some tomato puree. I have some tomato stock, and I grated in some carrot, and there's a big red pepper, and I just stewed all that up and added some red wine vinegar to give it a little boost. And what else went in? There's some fresh basil mixed through at the end as well to give it a nice taste. Can't see it very well because it's just so smoky, so I'll come back to that. And that's just our pasta, and that's just a mess. And we're just going to put this on some spinach. That's the passata that I used from Morrison's, and I used these meat-free Richmond sausages. I just baked them in the oven first and then mixed them through at the end. And that's the penny pasta that I used. See if you can see it better without all this steam. Yeah, and because it's so dark and rich red, I just wanted to show you. Maybe when I put it on the plate, it'll be easier. So this is it on the plate, and it looks so good. And there's my daughters and my sons, and I think they're going to grate some Violife Epic Mature cheese on top. Which would be nice. And another nice idea is to mix a little bit of vegan soft cheese through the sauce before you serve it, and it makes it extra creamy, but I didn't have any of that left, so we're just going to grate some cheese on. And this is their grated Violife cheese on top, and yeah, it looks quite pretty but I'm not having any, so and I'll be back tomorrow. So for Sunday's dinner, we have got some roasted baby Charlotte potatoes that my daughter grew, and she just dug them up from the garden today. And we have a sweet chili burger. This is my daughter prepared dinner, and she used this artisan veggie burger mix, sweet chili. It's gluten-free and vegan, and I'm sure I bought that from Lidl's or Aldi's. It could have been Lidl's. And it was really quite cheap. It was a few months ago though, but it was like really quite not very dear. And I've got a pita bread, some spinach and coriander. This is just leftover salad, some cucumber, some cherry tomatoes, and there's just a little bit of, is it Moroccan hummus? Moroccan hummus. And there's my daughter's one, and there's my son's one. He's got a bagel, because I was cleaning out the freezer and I could only find two, I forgot what they were called, soft pita breads. So he's got a bagel, and we've both got my daughter, where's your peas? My daughter took her peas through to the table. So these are the peas, sweet peas that my daughter grew in the garden, and she just picked them today, and she says we can just eat them from the bowl. We'll just have to pop them ourselves and eat them raw because they're nice and sweet anyway. So yeah, and this is a milk loaf that I made today. Just thought I would show you it. Oh, I just thought I'd show you my finger. From the bread maker, and that's for tomorrow's lunch, and it's got a nice knobbly top, and I used soy milk to make it. And yeah, so that's what we're having for our dinner. So for today's dinner, we're having these vegan pasties. These ones are vegan pasties, but I think they're supposed to be like Cornish pasties. And these were from Morrison's, the supermarket. You get 2 vegan pasties for £3. And they're really big and heavy. And there's a sausage roll that I'm going to have. You get the savoury vegan rolls for £1.50 for 2. My son took one for a packed lunch at school. So my kids will have these and I'll have the sausage roll. And we got these in one of well, I can't say local village because we drove to the supermarket and a town. It was about 110 miles away, so it was about 220-mile round trip to go shopping at some shops that are not here basically. So yeah, we picked up these from Morrison's, and we're going to be having M&S Marks and Spencer's baked beans. These are only 35p for a can, which is very comparable to the Co-op. And I'm sure these might taste nicer. So I'm just heating these up, and I'm just finishing these corn cobs that I got from M&S too. These were only 45p for one corn cob, which is very cheap. Very cheap. And when we're in M&S food hall, seemed a lot cheaper than the Co-op. A lot of the things, so that's good. So I'm just going to dish it up. So here it is, I've dished it up, and my daughter is practically bouncing with excitement because we have M&S beans and M&S sweet corn. So she's very excited because we don't usually go there. We just went in to have a look in their food hall and compare it to the Co-op, which is the supermarket that we have here where we live, the only one for many miles around. And I much prefer M&S food hall to the Co-op, put it that way. I would much gladly swap. So yeah, that's what we're off to eat now. So for Friday's dinner, I have made a plant-based version of corned beef and cabbage stew, which is an Irish-American thing recipe. It was when Irish immigrants went to America and they had this stew, but I think they used bacon with it and they couldn't find bacon in America, so they put corned beef in. So instead of corned beef, I've used some tempeh, a big roll of tempeh, which is a fermented soya bean, and I'll show you that shortly. That's in there. And those big wedges are big wedges of cabbage, white cabbage, and I've got big whole, so this is a very rustic stew. So there's whole garlic cloves, and I've quartered 2 onions, so there's big chunks of onion, there's chunks of carrot and celery and baby potatoes. And for the stock, it's very tasty and it's really dark and rich. I have added some tamari soya sauce and some onion powder and some plant-based beef stock. And what else went in? A bay leaf, tablespoon of mixed herbs, and what else did I put in? Probably just some salt and pepper. Oh yes, and some Marmite, fun, believe it or not, because that makes everything taste quite meaty. So with this Irish dish, I have made some Irish soda bread. So yeah, I made that. And if you want the recipe for this bread or anything, just let me know and I will pop the recipe up. So this is just Irish soda bread, and I've just used some wholemeal bread flour, and I made a soya buttermilk with some soya milk, and I added some apple cider vinegar and left it to curdle. and it's just like bicarbonate soda and some salt. That's basically all the ingredients for the Irish soda bread, because you don't have to knead or put yeast in this type of bread, and it's really good. It's a great rustic bread for just pulling a wedge off and then dipping it into any stew that you've made, or putting some butter on or margarine, and it's very good. And I'll just show you the stock that I used. I used this plant-based stock powder beef style, and it's all vegan, and it's a Masso brand, and I just bought this from Amazon for about £5, and I know it's cost I know it seems like a lot of money for what you get, but you only need a little bit, and this little tin has lasted quite a few meals, so that's good. So I'm just going to go and assemble the dinner. So this is the tempeh that's removed, that's standing in for the corned beef. And I'm just going to cut it into wedges now. I've just fished it out of the stew, and I'm going to slice it up into wedges. So this is the veggie corned beef and cabbage stew on a plate. There's the cabbage, that's just some spices and herbs and stuff that's just been on the cabbage. And the potatoes, and the tempeh, and the onion, and a wedge of the soda bread. And I've just got some chopped parsley on mine. And as you can see, the gravy is really delicious. So for today's lunch, I'm having a red pepper hummus at the bottom of the sandwich, and topped it with cucumber and the red Apollo lettuce with the cherry tomatoes. And there's a slice, I don't think you can see it, there's a slice of the Violife smoky cheddar vegan cheese at the bottom. And I'm just going to put it together and try and half it. And I've used this Co-op Bakery sliced tiger bloomer, which makes really nice sandwiches. So I'm going to try and seal it. So here's my huge sandwich halved, and it does look, you can see the cheese at the bottom now, and it does actually look very tempting, and I can't wait to eat it. So for today's lunch, I'm having a salad bowl with using the soybean spaghetti organic that I bought from, is the foodie market, is that Aldi's or Lidl's? Can't remember, but I bought this a long time ago from Aldi's and Lidl's, but it's still in date. And that's it there. I've just drained it, and it's got this red Apollo lettuce. It looks lovely. I just got that from a local wholesaler that sells fruit and veg to the public as well, so it just looks really good. A red Apollo, and some of these little cherry tomatoes and some cucumber, and I'm just going to put it into this bowl. So here is my salad bowl set up with the tomatoes, and there's a little bit of, I use one slice of this smoky cheddar flavour slices, and I've just like ripped that up, put it in, and there's got the lettuce and the cucumber, and just the last slice of my herb bread, because this has probably not got many calories in it, and that will fill me up. So that's what I'm off to have for my dinner, or lunch I should say.